Hey guys, Jace here. Okay. Got about 40 minutes of sunlight left, and I'm actually on my way to pick up a couple of planes that my wife has bought me for Christmas. Because the park is clear and I got a spare little half an hour before I have to leave, I just thought I'd get my little Flite Zero up into the air, do a quick video of it. I fly the elevator on low rate, about 70% low rate. She is very twitchy on the nose, and I fly on a 2S, although she will take a 3S. She'll take a 3S quite nicely, but I run her on a 2S the way she's sort of designed to, and I find it's a good result. Anyway, I'll get her into the air and we'll fly her. There we go. Flying nicely on this 2-cell. It's a little bit windy, not too much, just it's breezy really, I suppose is more to the description. This thing's very twitchy on the elevator. I do have low rates on it, about 70% low rate, but it's still very twitchy. I'm not quite sure why. It's like nothing really happens for quite a bit, and then you pull a little tiny bit more on the elevator and something does happen. It's a bit tricky to get to learn. I think it's because I haven't had too many flights of it as yet, so I'm not quite sure of her flight characteristics. But I love these little minis and micros, mainly because of their convenience. I mean, this is a very small little plane, really. I mean, not quite as small as the micros, but small enough that doesn't take up hardly any room in the van or in the car, and you don't have to take big batteries around with you. Just these little 2-cell or 3-cell small milliamp batteries and your radio, and that's really it. The first one I bought of these from the shop was actually broken. I'm not quite sure why. It was just broken off at the nose, so I took it back to the shop and they swapped it out for this one. When I assembled this one, there's a little rubber band that's meant to keep the wings attached to the fuselage, and that was actually missing. So I've had to glue these wings on. I could have found another rubber band, but to be honest, if it's not the right one, you never know if it's going to be detrimental to the structural integrity. So I just glued the wings to the fuselage. Now, I don't like doing that. I'm not a big fan of gluing wings on in case I need to take them off for some reason later on, but it's more important that the plane is structurally sound. And I have to admit, it is twitchy. I've said before, it is twitchy. I don't know if it's because it's in the wind. I don't know if it's because it lacks some kind of C of G control, but anyway, it's still very fun to fly. I'm on edge with it a little bit. I can't fly it relaxed like I can other models, but at the end of the day, I'm in control of it, quite nicely in control, and it's a lot of fun to fly. It's a lot of fun. It does beautiful loops, very, very controlled and scaled. It will fly upside down quite nicely, and it pulls beautiful aileron rolls, barrel rolls, Cuban 8s. I'll do a Cuban 8 now. I'll do a reverse Cuban. I'll go up, reverse it, pull around the loop out of the Cuban, come down, go up, reverse, and roll through the other half of the Cuban. And it performs those maneuvers very, very beautifully and admirably. The wind is dropping off quite a bit now, and it is actually becoming a lot more stable as it's not having to fight the wind. It's a very, very light little plane. It's only natural. It's going to get affected quite a lot by wind. It's still a lovely little plane to fly. Very pleased with it. It's quite cheap really for $160. I mean, they don't give you a battery, you have to buy the battery, but everything else is there. It's bind and fly. Bind it to a Spectrum radio, and you're in, you know. That's my timer gone off, but I've got a slightly bigger battery in than the last one. The last one was a 400 milliamp, this one's a 700 milliamp. So you'll fly for quite a bit longer. I fly it all the time on full power. I'm getting a bit more risque with my movements now as that wind's dropping off. I'm allowing it to fly a bit closer to the ground. At the end of the day, I can always pull back on the elevator and let it climb up into the air to safety if I'm ever worried at any point. I think what I need to do is just fly it more, allow my muscle memory and my thumbs to build up as it gets used to flying this particular model. It certainly isn't a beginner's plane. Okay, I'm going to bring it into land now. It certainly isn't a beginner's plane. You know, you need to know what you're doing to land this plane and to keep it, flying straight and true. I'll take it around a bit. It wasn't really slowing down. Okay, now I'll take the power off and bring it back round again. There you go. Yeah, it's slowing down a lot better this time. And on the ground, there we go. Yeah, it is a nice plane. It is nice. It's not as relaxing to fly as the slightly bigger stuff, or the stuff with AS3X. Don't let anybody try to tell you differently that AS3X doesn't make life easier, because it makes life a hell of a lot easier. It would be lovely if this had the AS3X on it, but it doesn't. But that doesn't take anything away from the way it flies. I really enjoy flying it. It's nice and easy and convenient to keep around, and it's got beautiful scale looks. I mean, it just looks exactly like a Japanese Mitsubishi A5 Zero. So it's definitely there as one of my favourite planes to fly. Well, anyway guys, that's it. Just a couple of quick flights that was. I'll post this up on YouTube, and I hope you get something out of it. I hope it gives you a bit of an insight into this little plane, and maybe you'll consider getting one. Anyway, thanks a lot for watching guys. See you later.